to this day, I don't know what Johnny Carson's politics were. He thought it was his duty, having the night show, to bring joy to the average American after a tough day.
Yes.
That was his entire raison d'etre, his reason for being. Then the left took over and destroyed nighttime TV, just as it has destroyed everything that it touches. You no longer have that. There is no concept of my task as a talk show host at night is just to bring people some joy after a tough day. No, my task is to fill you with hate for conservatism.
Well, you have observed this, so I have to give you credit for it. But you said that one of the reasons you think that many of these Oscar speeches and Emmy acceptance speeches are so political.
You know my theory?
Yes, is because
you say it.
Is because many of these Hollywood individuals yearn for greater purpose.
Right. That's right. They think their lives are meaningless.
Yes.
See, Johnny Carson didn't think his life was meaningless.
And their lives are not meaningless. They are doing a huge service by bringing us joy, to your point.
I value the work of actors more than they do.
Yes.
If they valued their work, they wouldn't think they also had to be political pundits.
Well, this is...
Like the Robert De Niro, who, I mean, all I read is how he goes literally from show to show saying, F Donald Trump. He doesn't understand. He will be remembered for F Donald Trump, not for his acting.
Yes. Well, this is something that you have done throughout your career spectacularly well, and it has made a great impact on me, and it's something that I'm trying to replicate with my hopefully burgeoning talk show hosting career. And it's that when I started this, I told myself that I was not going to make myself a one-trick pony. In other words, I was not going to get up there and every single day just talk about politics. And of course, a lot of Timeless, and of course, some of Dennis and Julie, we do go into the realm of the political, and that's okay. But you are so great because you do Happiness Hour, you do Male-Female Hour, you wrote a book on happiness. Look at all the varied topics that we do on this show. Look at what we were just talking about with the differences in accents around the country. I have really tried to, on my show and outside of the show, read a great variety of books and like sort of expose myself to all of the different things that life has to offer. Because now when you go not just to the political pundits, but to your point, to actors and actresses, everywhere you go, it's politics. You can't get away from it.
That's right.
And so I try to provide myself and others a little bit of a respite from that with the random topics that I discuss, because we have to be able to make ourselves varied people outside of the political.
I reported on my radio show just this past week a major NFL player, National Football League player. He's with the Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl champions. He's their kicker. He's a big star. And he's Roman Catholic, and he was invited, oddly enough, to give the commencement address at a Catholic college in Kansas. And yeah, all right, play a little of the clip. It's rare we do, but it's
I'm
worthy
so sorry.
here.
I won't be able to hear it.
Oh, that's true.
Well, we could turn on the speaker.
Yeah, that's true too. There are many truths. You see that? I have a truth. Julie has a truth. All right, give it a try. Go ahead, Sean.
And poor leadership have negatively impacted major life issues. Things like abortion, IVF, surrogacy, euthanasia, as well as a growing support for degenerate cultural values in media, all stem from the pervasiveness of disorder. Our own nation is led by a man who publicly and proudly proclaims his Catholic faith, but at the same time is delusional enough to make the sign of the cross during a pro-abortion rally.
So which is... It is delusional. I'm not a Catholic, but it strikes me as delusional. It is like the Jews who, as a Jew, I support the people who want to exterminate Israel. We have a lot of sickos. Okay, but so I'm mentioning this. Why am I mentioning this? Because, oh yes. So the NFL The guy gives a Catholic speech as a Catholic at a Catholic college. So why does the NFL feel it necessary to comment on this? They go, he doesn't represent National Football League values. Wait a minute. The National Football League has values? The only value of the National Football League should be to produce as honest and good a game of football as possible. That is what sports is for. That's a great value, where we are depoliticizing our sport so that conservatives and liberals, leftists and rightists, Jews, Catholics, Protestants, and atheists can all cheer for their team, which is the way it was always in America till the left took over the NFL, the NBA, and Major League Baseball.
I have so much to say on this. We have no boundaries in society now. I think I remarked this recently, or maybe the last episode of Dennis and Julie, but look at what's taught in schools. We used to understand that you went to school to learn how to read, how to do math, to learn about science, and then you went home, and then there were other realms of life that your parents taught you about. Now that's all blended. Look at journalists and the way that they do activist reporting. Journalists used to understand that it was their vocation to provide objective facts, and then you, the reader, figured out your opinion
or if you
based
want
on those
opinion,
objective
you go to
facts.
the opinion page.
That's
You
right.
read a
Exactly.
column.
The NFL used to understand that it had one job: to put on great football games,
Right.
Et cetera, et cetera. But all of this is blended now. I remember when I was in college, and everybody knows that my whole political awakening took place during Black Lives Matter. And one of the things that I'll never forget about that time was that everyone had to make a statement. It was demanded of everyone to do these Maoist self-criticism sessions for their white privilege. And I remember being on Instagram during that time and seeing the Harvard softball team release a statement saying, "We stand with Black Lives Matter again." And I'm thinking, what the bleep does the Harvard softball team?
Well,
why
I
do
just
they
gotta
have to
say,
make
my first reaction, you could ask Sue. I said, Sue, I really want to know what the Harvard softball team thinks.
Well, it wasn't just the softball; it was every single sports team, even like
Right.
the robotics club.
That's the
It's like,
NFL example.
what is the
That's
robotic?
Right. It's all, that's right. Well, that is what the left is. There are no, as you excellently put it, there are no boundaries.
No boundaries.
By the way, there really are no boundaries. The country has no boundaries as far as the left is concerned. Sex has no boundaries. Oh, it's non-binary. There are no boundaries.
Yes, that's a very, very good point. Well, you write in the first few pages of Genesis, your Torah commentary, literally, what is the first thing that God does? Mm-hmm. He creates distinctions.
Yeah.
And that is the first act of God.
Right after creation. That's
true.
the first thing
right
he
after
does.
That,
as soon as the
slightly
world is
important
created,
thing.
that's the first
Yes.
thing.
But that shows how significant
Yes, it's everything.
distinctions are.
It's everything. Do you know that the word for holy in Hebrew? Well, you wouldn't know.
I actually
don't
might,
expect. All right, you
having
might.
read so much.
Oh, that's fair enough.
I know bara is to create.
That's impressive. Seriously.
I know bris is a circumcision.
Right.
Shall I go on? No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
You know Shabbat Shalom.
That's right.
So the biblical Hebrew word, actually it's modern Hebrew too. The Hebrew word for holy means separate.